Welcome to SVG-TV News for Tuesday, November 19th, 2024. I am Jennifer Richardson with the details. Heavy rainfall from the trough system overnight into this morning has resulted in widespread flooding, blocked roads and landslides in several communities across St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Speaking with the Agency for Public Information, the API, Director of the National Emergency Management Organization, NEMO, Michelle Forbes, reported that at least 2 house roofs were blown off in the Georgetown area due to gusty winds. Additionally, 2 houses in the Kingston area were destroyed. Forbes also noted that there were other reports of damage to homes caused by landslides. Forbes warned that the adverse weather conditions are expected to continue, bringing the potential for further flooding and landslides. She urged residents to refrain from throwing garbage into rivers, which has been causing blockages and exacerbating flooding in several areas. Reiterating the ongoing hurricane season and noting that this is one of the wettest months of the year, NEMO is encouraging residents to take all necessary precautions. The Central Water and Sewerage Authority, the CWSA, announced on its Facebook page that the tropical system has caused significant damage to its pipeline network in several communities. A blockage to the water supply source at Hermitage has also been reported. While many areas are currently without water supply, the CWSA assured the public that teams are underground conducting repairs. The authority is urging residents to report broken lines or disruptions to water supply by calling 1-784-456-2926 or 494-0933. The St. Vincent Electricity Services Limited VINLEC has also reported power outages in multiple areas. VINLEC noted that restoration efforts may be delayed due to the weather conditions. Customers are encouraged to report power outages to the emergency unit at 456-1540. The Ministry of Education issued an advisory for all schools to close by midday due to the impact of the weather system. According to the Meteorological Services, relatively fair conditions are expected to interrupt occasional showers on Wednesday. For Thursday and Friday, a few localized showers are anticipated during the mid-afternoon. Gentle to moderate east-southeasterly winds are currently crossing the islands, with decreased wind speeds expected on Wednesday, leading to warmer conditions. Seas are forecasted to remain slight to moderate, with waves ranging between 1 to 1.5 meters in open waters. No significant concentrations of Saharan dust haze are anticipated during the forecast period. Residents are advised to stay alert and follow updates from the authorities. Meantime, the flash flood warning, which was issued earlier, has been discontinued. However, a flash flood watch is in effect until 6 a.m. tomorrow. A family of 5 of Rockies in the Kingston area narrowly escaped death when their home was destroyed and reduced to a pile of debris, now resting at the bottom of a hill covered in dense vegetation. When SVGTV News visited the scene, the family, headed by Deborah Ashton, had already vacated the area. A visibly shaken neighbor, Jacqueline Nero, whose toilet was uprooted in the landslide, expressed gratitude that no lives were lost.
About 1 o'clock last night, because before the morning, the rain was coming. And when the rain was coming, it's like I hear the dogs them grumbling behind me. So when I go behind, I open my door, because my brother been there. I open my door. When I open the door, I see the grass them thing. So I say, oh God, Porter come. That's my brother. When I look, crossing, the house was over there. Right there.
Right there.
You see where the pig pen there, and they have to jump out and go in the pig pen and stand up before they get to come over and calling Debbie, Ling, and they answering. So when the guy come up to get the a light, and then, but the son, the big son, one of them, because it's 4 of them was in the house, the 2 sons and the mother and because the other daughter will go work. So when the son come up and say, oh God, Jackie, look, the house washing baby, oh God. But he's lucky he been there home because we might get 3 dead to this morning.
The destroyed house was reportedly a 3-bedroom structure that had stood in the area for about 30 years. Nero's home is precariously situated just 4 feet away from the landslide site. She shared her fears upon hearing the crash of her pit latrine being swept away, adding that all she could do at that moment was pray.
Are you worried that something may happen to you with the rain continuing?
Yes, because it's like I'm frightened because I bawling out up to this morning, but I was praying. Because when I hear the heavy rain, because the first house up the inside down, and it's like when I hear the heavy rain, I say, oh God. I frightened and I easy for cry. So the place was dark. I make sure to take off my light, the current, because I see like things, so I don't want, but I thank God. I frightened, I come in and I start to pray and ask God, because when I hear bad up, my toilet go. But I still thank God, not my house soon, because, you understand?
Ian Edwards, who lost his home in Rockies to a landslide 3 years ago, reflected on his own narrow escape. With the help and support he received, Edwards has since rebuilt a stronger home and offered words of encouragement to the affected family, urging them to remain hopeful.
Well, as I said, I was in a previous situation like this, like a couple of years ago, where my house came down through torrential rain, you know, and my neighbor as well, you know, so I know the hurt and the pain that the persons feel. As I said, I was telling somebody this morning that if you want it to happen to my worst enemy, because it's really terrible, very terrible. Yeah, but them areas, they can't do safe for live at all because of the slippage and all of that. Yeah, it's very bad. Well, I'm fine. I rebuild stronger and better now. So I believe I could withstand almost any kind of weather that come my way. So I'm fine now, and my family is fine, and I think we're good. Yeah. So I just want to say to the family that are hurting and feeling this pain now that hold on, help is on its way and stay strong.
Several areas in Rockies have also experienced landslides and falling debris, leaving residents on edge and highlighting the vulnerability of homes in the region. Residents are reminded to exercise caution and heed safety warnings in landslide-prone areas. Minister of Tourism, Civil Aviation, Sustainable Development and Culture, Carlos James, is leading St. Vincent and the Grenadines delegation at the 29th Conference of Parties, COP29, of the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change, taking place in Baku, Azerbaijan. The 8-member delegation, which includes civil servants, climate change experts, adaptation and finance specialists, and media personnel, is expected to represent SVG in several high-level ministerial dialogues, negotiations, and bilateral meetings with UN member states and key international organizations at the Global Climate Conference. Delivering an address at the International Forum today, Minister James emphasized that given the vulnerabilities of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, the country cannot afford to be a mere spectator on the critical issue of climate change.
It is against this backdrop that I stand here with the available science and our very own real-life experiences of being on the front line of the devastating impacts of climate change. For St. Vincent and the Grenadines, reducing carbon emissions to 1.5 degrees Celsius is more than just a target. Mr. President, on the 1st of July 2024, our multi-island state was ravaged by the passage of the Category 4 Hurricane Beryl, leaving some of our islands unrecognizable, with thousands of families homeless in the wake of its destruction. We thank those who supported and continue to support our recovery efforts. As I deliver this statement, my people are waking up to the ravaging effects of severe flooding that is currently affecting our island's infrastructure. If we are to follow the science, the aggressive nature and the unpredictability of present weather systems is the climate's response to humanity's failure to act. For SIDS, we simply do not have any more time for a polite ask. We cannot continue to expend finite resources on a continuous recovery cycle while chasing vague promises for minuscule and indifferent action.
Minister James is anticipated to play a pivotal role at this year's UN Climate Conference as one of the Caribbean community's CARICOM ministerial leads and political focal points in the areas of loss and damage and climate finance. This year's COP29 has been designated as the Finance COP, with a focus on securing an agreement on the new collective quantified goal NCQG on climate finance. The NCQG aims to set fresh financial targets to support developing countries in their climate action initiatives post-2025. Highlighting the significance of COP29 being labeled the Finance COP, Minister James remarked that it carries both personal and national importance for SVG and other small island developing states, SIDS.
Amidst the colorful diplomatic language of some leaders on this platform, our climate negotiators are disgracefully being held in a metaphoric chokehold as a major historic and contemporary carbon emitters bob and weave their way out of the commitments to reduce carbon emissions and bail out on climate finance pledges. This is a selfish and unwarranted assault on the 65 million people living in SIDS. We need to ensure that at this COP, the new collective quantified goal will build upon previous climate finance targets. Mr. President, the new goal must take into account and respond to the urgent needs and priorities of developing countries and recognition of the special circumstances of SIDS, addressing efficaciously their unique social, economic, and environmental vulnerabilities. Collectively, we must find solutions to unlocking the ever-complicated maze of climate finance, with practical considerations for access and distribution, while renewing the call for a restructure of the global financial architecture presently designed to keep SIDS in a vicious cycle of debt. Our government firmly advocates for effective multilateralism and an international framework within which our developed priorities can be pursued.
Minister James also used the platform to advocate for the inclusion of Taiwan and other nations in the climate negotiations, stating that all countries should have a seat at the table to address the global challenge of climate change.
Mr. President, we need an unprecedented level of collective action. In the final days of this conference, we must not compromise ourselves out of a viable future. Ambitious actions is not a want, but an imperative as we keep our heads above the rising tide to safeguard lives and livelihoods. Finally, Mr. President, there is still some lingering hope in humanity's call to action. Despite the challenges, it can and must be done.
COP29 began on November 11th and will conclude on November 22nd, 2024. It remains a critical forum for nations to advance strategies and commitments to mitigate the impacts of climate change, while bolstering support for vulnerable countries like St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Angus Martin, Vice President of the Taxi Drivers Association, has expressed concern about the poor condition of the roads leading to popular tourist attractions in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. In an interview with SVG-TV last Friday, Martin stated that the deteriorating roads make it difficult for taxi drivers to access these sites, as the rough conditions take a significant toll on their vehicles.
Getting to the sites, it takes a lot of licks on our vehicle and a lot of licks on us. On my shoulder and arm, bukutuku, going down. You drop down in some hole, you come back up. Okay, we have some nice smooth roads in around Kingston. But some of the roads, even though some of them are fixed, they're uneven. So sometimes your vehicle, the amount of bounce when you come back, your vehicle shake down all your nuts and all them bolts and things. One slack, you have to be careful. So that's what some of our taxi guys are crying out for, most of all, because it's the wear and tear of the vehicle. Now the insurance done depreciate in your vehicle already, and when the wear and tear when you go and come back. When you think you just have to put in gas, feed your family, and pay your bills, it's the vehicle you have to tend to after. So
Martin further emphasized that the state of the roads not only presents challenges for drivers, but also complicates vehicle maintenance. The harsh conditions result in faster wear and tear, leading to a quicker depreciation of the vehicles.
So if you make the money in this hand, it goes like this. So look, we go out today, we make $100, it's spent right back in the country. Understand? So this is why sometimes we are asking the people in authority to have a little bribe, look at us as a taxi driver, what we are going through. Because we're going through a lot of things, a lot of struggle. Because we are a legitimate business. Because when you take a vehicle that value over 100,000 and put it on the road, it's business you're doing. 100,000 and $100. And then you owe credit union, you owe bank, and you want to maintain a business and provide a service. So these are some of the things that affect us. It's some of the potholes and the pulling off that we are talking about.
The Zero Hunger Trust Fund is SVG-TF in conjunction with the Ministry of Agriculture, Forestry, Fisheries, Rural Transformation, Industry and Labor, the Farmer Support Company and technical officials of Taiwan continues its national food security drive by promoting and developing backyard gardens across St. Vincent and the Grenadines. A news release says teams have been deployed for the process of distributing seeds, seedlings and technical support. The release says activities are progressing smoothly through the collaborative assistance of a number of local volunteers, and persons have been encouraged to register to be a part of this exciting journey as volunteers and beneficiaries. Registration can be done on the Zero Hunger website at zerohungersvg.com, at the office in Kingston, the NIS building, or through a number of volunteers. The release says volunteers will serve in the capacity of registering agents for persons interested in being a part of the National Backyard Venture. The release says so far a number of persons within the areas of North Leeward, West St. George, East St. George, South Central Windward, South Leeward and Central Leeward has been registered to be a part of the backyard gardens. A team is expected to travel to the Grenadines and South Windward this week to register beneficiaries and volunteers. The goal of Backyard Gardening Initiative is to increase food production in St. Vincent and the Grenadines while promoting healthy eating habits. St. Vincent and the Grenadines today joined countries worldwide in observing International Men's Day under the theme Men's Health Champions. The theme emphasizes improving men's overall well-being and encouraging healthy lifestyles. Observed annually on November 19th, International Men's Day recognizes the contributions of men to society while addressing the unique challenges they face. In a message from the Gender Affairs Division, Assistant Coordinator Willis Hackshaw highlighted the importance of acknowledging the positive impact men have on their communities.
Fathers nurturing their children to mentors guiding young people. Men play essential roles in families, workplaces, and society at large. Their contribution to education, healthcare, and community service are important, and today we honor those who strive to make a difference. However, as we celebrate these contributions, we must also confront the challenges that many men in St. Vincent and the Grenadines face. Societal expectations often place undue pressure on men to conform to certain ideals of masculinity, expectations that may discourage them from expressing vulnerability or seeking help when needed. Mental health issues in particular remain a critical concern. Statistics show that men are less likely to seek support from mental health struggles due to stigma. It is essential that we foster an environment where men feel safe to talk about their feelings and seek help without fear of judgment.
Hackshaw called on everyone to promote healthy masculinity by encouraging men to embrace qualities such as compassion and openness, noting that these traits help foster stronger, more supportive communities.
Means to redefining what it means to be a man in our society, challenging harmful stereotypes that equate masculinity with dominance and aggression. Let us engage in conversation that encourage men to be allies in the fight for gender equality. Gender equality benefits everyone, and men have a critical role to play in advocating for a world where all individuals, regardless of gender, are treated with respect and dignity. As we observe International Men's Day, let us also recognize the importance of engaging men and boys as pivotal partners in addressing gender-based violence and discrimination. Today, we can create a culture of respect and equality where everyone feels safe and valued.
The Deputy Director of the Gender Affairs Division also emphasized the transformative power of mentorship. He noted that mentorship provides guidance, encouragement, and a sense of belonging, which can significantly impact individuals and society as a whole.
For young men navigating the challenges of today's world, whether it's academic pressure, societal expectation, or personal struggles, having a mentor can make all the difference. Mentors offer not only advice, but also a listening ear, a safe space for young individuals to express themselves. Men have the opportunity to be powerful role models. By stepping into mentorship roles, we can demonstrate the value of respect and integrity. Mentorship allowed us to model healthy behavior and redefine what it means to be a man in our society. Encouraging men as mentors also help to break down harmful stereotypes that often dictate how men should behave. It encouraged open conversations about emotions, vulnerabilities, and resilience. Mentors can show young men that seeking help and expressing feelings are a sign of strength and not weakness.
President of the SVG Teachers Union, Oswald Robinson, is also urging men to prioritize their health. In his message to mark the day, Robinson highlighted the importance of improving men's overall well-being and adopting healthy lifestyles.
First of all, I want to salute and celebrate with all the men in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and especially those in the teaching profession. Today is International Men's Day, and the theme has to do with men's health. And it is important that we continue to pay attention to our health, because health is wealth, and we must continue to do our medical checks because they are important.
International Men's Day also serves as a celebration of positive male role models, emphasizing the need to foster supportive communities where men can thrive and achieve their full potential. The National 9 Mornings Committee is preparing for the launch of this year's Christmas 9 Mornings Festival on December 1st. On NBC Radio this morning, Chairman of the committee, Orande Bomani Charles, announced that the festival will kick off with the usual street parade in the capital, Kingstown.
It's become tradition at this point that we launch the festival with a street parade and a concert, official ceremony, where we turn on the lights and we have sampling of what is to be expected in each year in Kingstown here. And so this year would be no exception this year. We'll be having the street parade. We'll be including some additional elements. This is one of those that you would have to come and see. This is going to be, some of those would be surprises. But we want to maintain that celebratory atmosphere, using it as a marketing opportunity for persons to see what they can expect for this year, 9 Mornings.
Charles says the popular Bring Your Song and Come competition will return this year.
Yeah, music has always been a part of 9 Mornings and the festival as a whole, and we've already made it a point to encourage our recording and performing artists to consider recording Christmas music. Right, it's an opportunity, to promote their craft, but to be part of our cast as well. And we worked with a significant number of artists over the years. And by way of our programming, you can see that we encourage music to be part of this. We have the Bring Your Song and Come.
I was going to ask about that
competition, yeah. which is very, very popular over the last few years. And that's a part of the program that persons look forward to in the audience, and artists we don't have enough space to.
Exactly.
So it's become a first come first serve situation now.
Deputy Chair of the National 9 Mornings Committee, Lennox Bowman, said there will be some changes to food vending at the festival this year.
So we do have that astronomy that people monitor. But we do have a lot of food and drinks selling local stuff, sorrel, ginger beer, and you know, all the different kind of local food. This year we want to, for putting a little more emphasis on it, we want to rebrand it. And we are hoping that people would, the communities where their food stalls would be situated and would have, you know, a little sign, say 9 Mornings Kitchen, and you know, as sign of what is local. And we want to lead that from Kingstown and encourage, just as we did with the Wake and Wheel, we also want to encourage that thing, because we think people must have, apart from all the enjoyment that we had, if you could come to 9 Mornings and you could go back home